This is the way.
Welcome to the 12th Man podcast, opinionated debate on everything Borough. Let's have it.
So much can you do that? No, you got. No shots is it. Get it. You see, Red one of us, and that's a finisher. Kick it.
Right then. Good evening. Welcome to the 12 Man podcast. Coming to you live, uninterrupted. You got me, Steve Jackson, I'm in the main chair, as usual. I'll let these two introduce themselves.
John Cutler, North Stand season ticket holder. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Yeah, we've got myself, Jamie Delgado.
We've got,
There we go.
yeah. Good evening. And I'll come over to Zoom. We've got Mr. John Donovan. Evening, JD.
Now then, boys, okay?
Yeah, we're good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Cheers.
It's not a problem. And we've got Mr. Steve Dixon. Evening, Dicko.
Evening, lads. Great to be back on. Business end of the season starts now, eh? Come on. Excitement starts.
Yes, it is. Exactly. What is it? 5 days to go now? Yeah. The main bit starts now, the fun part. But yeah, so we're live. Get your comments in, get your thoughts in on the season, what's coming, our pre-season, what did you think? Our transfers, what do you think? What are we missing? What do we need? Yeah, get in touch. We'll have a chat about it as we go through the hour. Before I start, you two boys all right?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah, just like you say, eager to go now, just ready for the season to start. Looking forward to even Friday night watching Southampton, Sheffield Wednesday. Looking forward to watching that in the Championship getting underway and off we go.
Yeah, that was, to be fair, I said the same thing last Wednesday when we came out of Valley Parade. I was like, right, I'm ready now. This is, I've got it. You two boys all right?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Good to go.
Yeah, great. I say excited, apprehensive, excited. Lots of feelings going through. Let's hope the Borough are ready like we are.
Apprehensive. Why are you apprehensive? Let's start on that one. What makes you apprehensive?
I think I share a view that I think a lot of Middlesbrough supporters are feeling at the moment, which is, are we ready for the start of the season? I've made my feelings clear a lot of times on this podcast that I feel Middlesbrough going to the start of the season's not quite prepared in terms of the transfer market. We tend to be playing catch-up most seasons. We'll get cut adrift from the top 2, 3, 4. And I thought this season we might have learned a few of those lessons and had a few more key signings in place. I think we've been a little bit unlucky with injuries, don't get us wrong, which hasn't helped either in the Chuba Akpom situation. But just at the moment, just looking at the squad and how we're setting up for a really tough game against Millwall on Saturday, I'm a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah, go on, Cuts, before I start.
I think one thing with that, Steve, I think obviously the club will have been trying to get players in ready for the start of the season, but we're a victim of the way the transfer market is currently. I mean, I think we can all agree it's stupid to have a transfer window still open a month into the season. Yeah. And although we concentrate on Borough, I would imagine there's fans at every other club in the Championship that are saying the same things tonight as we are. So I don't really think we're starting behind. We're starting behind where we're going to be at the end of August, but I still think we're sort of, apart from the 3 that came down, on a level playing field with the rest regarding transfers anyway.
Yeah, we are a little bit, aren't we? I mean, I was talking to Jason about this earlier. He showed me like a little pitch of like positions and where like we're strong and where we're weak. And there was a massive hole in that pitch for me. Not because anything against it. Because left back was all we've got is Coulson. That's literally all we've got. And JJ, is that the position where we've really got to nail down this week? Is that the position we've really got to get someone in as quick as possible?
Yeah, I think so. But like John Cutler said, so I don't think it's not the club not trying. It's just some deals are easy to do, some deals are difficult. The players that you want might only become available later on in August. So you've just got to be patient. It's a bit of a sort of a Mexican standoff, isn't it? You know, and it's all about us maintaining our stance with regards when we've got a ceiling price for a player or a loan fee and wages, and we can't be sort of sucked into. In effect, it's like if it was an auction, you'd have your top budget, and you don't really sort of go over that. And I think that's a little bit how the club are playing things at the moment. I mean, to be honest, you look at Giles moving to Luton. Luton have been totally done over with the deal that Wolves have like got out of it. You know, a sell-on clause, a buyback clause, more payments for different types of add-ons, appearances and such like. So I mean, in desperation, I think Wolves have stitched Luton right up. That's just my opinion, and I think Borough have been a bit more savvy lately with regards transfer dealings. So we'd all like them in now for the start of the season, but sometimes you've just got to be a bit patient and see how things go.
I mean, it's interesting how we mentioned the left back there, and while we're on, might as well say, did anyone see? A former guest on the show, I think it was Craig Johns' article where they're contemplating playing Riley McGree at left back. Now, whether that works or not, what he gives us in midfield would be a massive loss of putting him anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not an advocate for that, like myself.
No, I'd be exactly the same. I think you've got to play McGree in the centre, especially if you've not got Howson back. Like you said, with the pre-season games, there's only really been there hasn't been any Coulson. Hasn't been any other kid that's come through that you think, you know, we had Hackney last year who you know came through about October time. Yeah. There hasn't been anyone you thought, oh, okay, he could do a job. So that is a bit worrying, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say, I think all I can remember during pre-season, I think there was a kid called Collins at York. That was the only one I saw, and he didn't look quite. No disrespect to the kid, I thought he did a really good job. I just thought he's not quite ready because he had to be coached through the game quite a bit by Lenihan. So in championship games, teams are going to pick up on that and they're going to isolate him. And if he can't hear the instructions coming to him, they'll be at him. So, but yeah, I mean, going back to obviously what John Don said there about the Wolves deal for Luton, what they've done to Luton is, yeah, they've had him over a chair, really, haven't they? Buyback clauses and all sorts. It's a bit. You could see why Borough didn't pursue as hard as some, not naming names, would want to push. And we've also got other targets as well, by the looks of it as well.
I think the Jazz want it. Essentially, I think he said it in an interview. He's had a lot of loans. Yeah. You know, it's a new chapter for him. The lad chose Premier League football. Yeah. You know, I think even if we had the same deal on the table, the lad, at the end of the day, it's down to the player. And people can slate the club and they can slate Gibson and Bowser, but if the player's ultimately chosen Luton, then, you know, go and have a go, see how you get on. Good luck to you.
I think what's disappointed me regarding the start of the season where we are at the moment is, forget Ryan Giles. You know, if Ryan Giles wants to go to the Premier League, good luck to him. That's his prerogative. And as a Middlesbrough supporter, I wish him well. He was great for us. Good luck to you, Ryan Giles. What's disappointed me is that Middlesbrough haven't had another left back in place to come in of real quality, and we've let Mark Bowler go. So why would we let Mark Bowler go, not get Ryan Giles, and not have a quality replacement or target in place now for the first game of the season? Because if you look at it, if you're Gary Rowett at Millwall, much like at the start of last season, I think teams will look at Middlesbrough as a real good opportunity to beat Middlesbrough and turn them over. before we will bring quality in. I've got no doubt we will address the left back situation, the striker, the Chuba Akpom situation will get addressed as the window closes and the weeks tick away. But my fear is the same as last season. Games go by, points go missing, chances go missing, and we're cut adrift. And I just think I thought we could have learned some lessons from last season. And if you're Millwall looking at Middlesbrough, take your Middlesbrough hats off and your Middlesbrough rose-tinted spectacles off. You're coming to Middlesbrough on Saturday. You've got a real opportunity to get at the left back. You've got a real opportunity to get at the right back. Because if you're Millwall and you've got the players they've got, in Fleming, Duncan Watmore, by the way, is going to come back. He'll fancy his chances. And they're going to look at the fullbacks at Middlesbrough on Saturday, which could be, unless we sign somebody before Saturday, which I hope we do, looking at Hayden Coulson, who's miles off a top 6 fullback, and possibly a makeshift Paddy McNair. I add into the mix Johnny Howson, Middlesbrough's talisman, captain, leader, isn't in the midfield. Chuba Akpom, our best player, is either off, injured, but won't be playing. And the striker hasn't been, Cameron Archer hasn't been replaced. So we might be going with Morgan Rogers or Matt Crooks. Now, with all the will in the world, if I'm a Millwall centre half, whether it be Jake Cooper, whether it be Sean Hutchinson or whoever they're going to play at centre half, two big ugly centre halves, I think Millwall will fancy the chances to tame a Morgan Rogers, and I think they'll fancy the chances to get it a Hayden Coulson and get it a Paddy McNair and come to Middlesbrough and get something. And I think a lot of that's down to Middlesbrough not being proactive enough in thinking, is Ryan Giles coming? Is he not coming? If he's not coming, we're going for this player and we're getting him in for the start of the season. And I thought that would have actually happened because Mark Bowler has been allowed to leave. So why have we allowed Mark Bowler to leave and still not bring somebody in? So, as I say, there's still time yet. We might bring somebody in this week, which would be great. But I think we've got a real game on our hands on Saturday, boys.
Well, we have. It's a championship game. It's going to be tough. But Christ, Dicko, where's the tramadol? I mean,
hey, listen, I knew this would happen because I'm going to come on and give probably an opinion that isn't up there with the fanboys' opinion. I'm giving an honest opinion on where I see Middlesbrough's squad at the moment, where I see us going into Saturday's game as it stands against Millwall. And I know it sounds a little bit defeatist because it's the first game of the season and, you know, I'm excited as you are. I'm going to be in the North Stand, big crowd there. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. But I can't help being apprehensive because they've done it so many times over the last few years. And I just see a trend happening again. And we can't keep going into the season, having poor starts and expecting to come back late on in the season with a miracle run. Even last season, as good as we still couldn't do it.
Use the word there, Dicko, about the club not being proactive. I bet they've got a dossier of, 20 left backs. Now, if them left backs that the club want to bring in aren't available at this present moment, why would you settle for anything less than you might get? All right, I agree with you. In an ideal scenario world, we'd have our left back in, but this club will be looking at left backs, but they're not going to bring in a left back. You talked about Bowler there. Great professional, never caused a bit of bother here. Not good enough for this club. Not good enough. So if the deal was on the table, if the deal was on the table from Turkey for him to go and us to get what the club classes decent money, I have no problem with the club selling Bowler. None at all. Even with not having a left back in.
Well, I just think that's lunacy. If you haven't got a left back in, you don't let a left back go. I don't know that club. I don't understand the logic in that.
Even if he's not good. Even if he's not good enough.
Well, I think he'd be good enough for Saturday. Looking at Middlesbrough's squad. So
I think when the letting go as well, we still had. He must have been gone about a month now, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So the eggs must have been all in the basket for Giles. Really,
we've known Ryan Giles was leaving Middlesbrough from May. There's nobody sitting here now who's going to tell me that from May, going into the first game in August, that we couldn't have brought a left back to the club before now. We've put all the eggs in one basket, thinking Ryan Giles was coming back for whatever reason, and it hasn't happened.
If you think that's the case, Steve, I think you must be going mad to think that a club of this size would not have other irons in the fire All right, they haven't come off yet. But if you think that they put everything, all of your
I didn't
all
say- I
the
didn't say- I
eggs in
didn't
one
say-
basket with Ryan Giles, I totally disagree with you because
Well, I
it
didn't
wouldn't have
mean
happened.
that we didn't have other targets. But what I'm saying is Ryan Giles hasn't been coming to Middlesbrough. So where are the other targets? We're
Who
now into
knows?
August.
Yeah,
Where are
but
the
who
other
knows?
targets?
Listen, it's easy done where you just get a replacement, but you need a replacement that's as good as Giles or possibly better in certain areas of play. And like John said, maybe he's that player is in negotiation at the moment. He might not be. He may well be. He might not. He might not be able to sort of negotiate with his club to leave. We don't know. In an ideal world, yes, at the start of the season on the 5th of August, we'd have all our signings done, our loans sorted. We'd have all that in place. But it doesn't happen, and that's just for every club.
Yeah.
Every club's the same, and that's why you see so many last-minute transfer deals. It's not out of desperation. It's just that the selling club or the negotiations start to move a little bit closer together, and eventually the deal gets agreed. You know, I think come Saturday, we'll be strong enough. We'll be strong enough. I know Millwall are a tough team, physically tough. They're always aggressive, but I think I think we've got enough there in our squad, despite the injuries, to get off to a decent start. I mean, I would play Rav at left back ahead of Coulson personally.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying that because I've always wanted to say play the Dutchman on the left hand side. No, not seriously. I do. I think Rav could play there, or even McNair switch them. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, play
I'm not-
Lenihan
I'm-
and Fry in the middle. Solid.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Coulson yet.
No, he's not
so-
good enough.
So
Uh,
if Rav can be a makeshift left back for a few games until we get our signings in, then play him left back, or
Is it?
or McNair left back and Rav right back. You know, it gives us a bit of physicality and strength.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying I expected, I'm not naive enough to think Middlesbrough would have had all the main signings in for the first game of the season. All I'm saying is, I think the start of the season with no recognised left back, right back, your captain injured, your best player may be leaving, may not be leaving, and you haven't replaced your centre forward for the first game of the season, is pushing it. I think we should be in a better position than what we are squad-wise and what we are at the moment. And I would like people who are listening live on YouTube, Facebook, please, come on with your comments. Am I talking nonsense? Am I talking sense? Are the lads talking sense? Or they talking nonsense? Leave your comments. Let's have some read out, because I don't believe I'm the only Middlesbrough fan sitting here now a little bit concerned the way the squad's shaping up for the start of the season.
Like you say,
No,
Steve,
you're not. You're not the only Middlesbrough fan, because I also would have preferred to have a few extra players in key positions, mainly the fullbacks that we've just discussed. But it's not happened. Now, we can't always say it's the fault of Middlesbrough. It's the fault of Bowser. Gibbo won't release the money. I'm sure that's not the case. There might be many, many reasons why transfers haven't happened just yet. But I'm sure that the players that we've got in our squad at the moment will see us okay Saturday.
Exactly.
like I say, I think all Middlesbrough fans would agree with Steve's sentiments. And like I say, in an ideal world, it would be perfect. It happens every year, and we're talking about the same thing every year. It's not just this football club; it's all across the football league.
Has there been many? I mean, I haven't noticed many transfers in the Championship, if I'm honest with you, apart from Southampton and obviously the teams coming down.
Leicester.
Leicester, Southampton,
Leeds. I think
haven't-
Stoke has signed 10, haven't they, Stoke?
I mean, I don't really. I'll be honest. I haven't really seen or recognise anyone that they've. I mean, who have they signed? I've not kept an eye on Stoke, if I'm honest with you.
I think they signed Villa's record signing, didn't they? Some striker, 22 million he cost Villa. He's a record signing. Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's been injury prone, so they've managed to get him on a deal, which is I think if he stays fit, he'll be a good signing. But hey, I totally agree with your point. It's there's lots of clubs in Middlesbrough's position. I totally accept that and agree with 100% what you're saying, boys. It's just because it's my club, I always want me to do better. And I said the same thing on the podcast this time last year, and I thought we might have learned a couple of lessons. And I think I said as well, I'm not a huge fan of keep going down the Premiership loan route, because what happens is if they do well and you don't get promoted, they leave, and they leave a huge hole in your squad, and it's difficult to fill the gaps of those players when they go. And we're struggling with that now, and people are banding Middlesbrough about as second favourites, third favourites, and all the rest of it where we're going to finish. And in my opinion, at the minute, the way it stands, I'm not saying it's the way it's going to finish, but the way it stands now, we're miles off. Miles off.
I think that's harsh. Miles off.
Do you not think this squad would finish top 6, Steve?
As it stands now?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I think we'll be 9-10. If we're looking.
This squad, he means with the players who were out injured for Saturday, back in contention. You know, the likes of Howson playing, the likes of Chuba Akpom. So that they're in our squad at the moment. So are you still saying that we wouldn't finish top 10 with our current squad?
With our current squad, even if we kept Akpom, I think we would struggle to make the playoffs.
Name the 6 that would be above us then.
Well, I'm not Mystic Meg.
I get that. But you've said that we're going to finish like 9 for 10. So you must have someone in mind for that top 6.
If I was that good, I wouldn't be on the podcast. I'd be in Ibiza or something like that. But I just think the 3 teams that have come down this year are particularly strong squads. Probably the toughest the Championship's been for a number of years, and I just think Watford will be stronger this year. They had a poor year last year. Coventry have bought well after losing Gyökeres. And there'll be, the Championship, it's just a tough league. And we've brought a lot of players in who are players for not just this season, but for the future. And may well go on to be fantastic players for Middlesbrough Football Club. But I think it's a huge ask at the moment, the way the squad's set up, to ask Van den Berg and Silvera and Rodgers, who aren't really that experienced, just to turn up and be Championship world beaters, like the players we've lost in Archer and Aaron Ramsey and people like that. I think it's a huge ask, and I don't think it's fair for them to be expected to do so. And I just think at the moment there's some glaring omissions in positions in the squad. So as it stands now, I'll stick by it. I think 9-10 at the moment, but I've got to be honest, I do think Middlesbrough will address that as the window goes on. I do think we'll get a left back in. I do think we'll bring a centre forward in. And I do think we'll address the Chuba Akpom situation. So as it stands now, yes, but I do think we'll get, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get stronger and finish higher up than that.
Right. I fully get where you're coming from. I just want to pick up on the bit where you said the players that have come in for the future, not for, I suppose, now.
No, I said, I'm not saying they're not for now. I said it's a big ask to ask them to come in now on a regular basis and produce the levels of a Cameron Archer and the players like Ryan Giles, who's gone. I think it's a huge ask for those players to come in and turn in performances week in, week out at that level. I really do. I think they're going to come in and out the team. They'll be in and out the first team. They'll be off the bench. They'll be impact players. But I'll be very surprised come, say, September, if many of the players we brought to the club at the minute are starting 11 players. I think barring Dieng and possibly Silvera, most of the players that were brought to the club at the moment will be squad players.
I mean, my point there was really, if Burnley can do it, why can't we do it? If you looked at Burnley's squad last year when it started, it was full of kids. It was absolutely full of kids. You had the keeper in goal from Man City, was it Muric? I had practically no experience. I didn't have much from Manchester City. There was the kid on loan from Southampton, was it Nathan Teller? Hell of a player, by the way. He'll do well at Southampton this season. There's players like that came in and did a job. They'll see this as an opportunity for themselves to step themselves up and prove that they belong at this sort of club, this sort of atmosphere, this sort of elite status, I suppose. So I just think it just sounds like they're being written off a little bit too quick.
I'm not writing anybody off. No, don't put words in my mouth that way. I haven't written anybody off. All I'm saying is, I think it'll take them time to settle and become first team regulars. They've obviously got talent. Otherwise, Michael Carrick wouldn't have brought them to the club. And I'm sure over the next couple of seasons, they'll prove that. But I don't expect those players come September to be regulars in the starting 11. I think they'll be squad players, impact players, and they'll play the part. But
if we only made one signing, Steve, for the rest of this window, and we didn't lose any players, and it was a quality left back, where then do you think this squad would finish with just one addition and no sales, with a left back in?
If we kept Chuba Akpom and signed a quality left back, I think we could push for the playoff spots. Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. Interesting start, wasn't it? Right, talk to you. What have you made of pre-season?
I think I alluded to it last week. Pre-season is nothing to me. It's just fitness for the players.
I'm glad I asked you.
When I say it doesn't mean that it's all about the fitness of the players, isn't it? I mean, I didn't go to the game on Saturday. Friendlies, they don't really interest me, but I watched the highlights. Yeah. And from the highlights, it seemed like we played some decent stuff. We missed a couple of decent chances. It's a style of football we became accustomed to last year, attacking football. I can't wait to see it again this season. But like you say, it's not about performance, it's about fitness. The important game is Saturday, 3:00. And I got the day right for a change. Because you got it wrong last year.
1 for 1. We'll hopefully keep that going. Dally, what have you made of pre-season?
I was always of the same opinion with John, really. But I'll be honest with you, obviously, looking at the last two games, we went down to Bradford, watched a youthful team, and you're looking at the players who are going to be squad players. That's their chance to show a little bit of flair. They're not going to put 100% in, but I was very disappointed in a couple of players. I think genuinely, I know it's only pre-season. I could be jumping the gun here, but I think Matthew Hoppe went straight in at number 3 in the top 3 West Borough players I've ever seen. I know it was only pre-season, but 2 Bradford centre-halves have never had an easier game in their lives. They could have been playing against the kids and had a harder game. I think what concerns me is we've conceded 5 goals over 2 games. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've scored 5 goals, which is obviously the positive of that. Set pieces seem to be something that worry me a little bit. But looking at any other positives, we scored 2 last-minute goals, and we did that a few times last season. So if they can keep that, it's good to build some sort of momentum. If they can take that into the Millwall game, then if it is tight coming in the last couple of minutes, you have got that optimism, I suppose. I think it was good to see. We were talking about just before, the way that the Carrick plays is right throughout the squad, and it's getting drilled in. You could see the short passes with the goalkeepers. It wasn't just a Stefan thing last year. Yeah. In the way that the ball was being positioned, it was. I think Glover was playing it. I think Jones had a little go at it as well. Yeah, when he come in, he looked a good keeper. Actually, Jones. I know he came up with 25 minutes, but I thought he looked solid.
There was 2 clearances he made in that second half. He pinged him straight onto the foot of the left winger each time.
I was a little disappointed in Piero, because as an Argentinian, I've seen, we always think South Americans, you're just looking for, I don't know, a 40-yard diagonal pass, or you're looking for a little dribble, you're looking for something that stands out. And I don't know, I don't really think he's from South America. I think he's from South Bank, if I'm honest with you. But
do you know, would you not look better playing further forward instead of defensive?
I don't know why he was coming to the edge of the box for the ball. I know it's pre-season, but he was coming to the edge of our own box for the ball, and I couldn't understand it with the number 10.
It's not his game, is it? If you're going to play Piero, he's got to be behind the front striker, one of the 3, either behind the striker on the right-hand side. Playing Piero as a defensive midfielder is just a nonsense for me. What a waste of a talent.
You say about waste of a talent, though. He's not going to play behind the forward, because that's Chuba's place should he stay here. And has Piero?
But he's not fit. Chuba's not fit though. So
No,
if you're
I know.
playing pre-season, what's the point of playing him as a defensive midfielder? Give him a chance playing behind Chuba. He might just be a second option till Chuba gets fit. It was a wasted opportunity for me, that.
I think even, I mean, we won the penalty, and I was expecting, you know, was it Gilbert? He ran over and grabbed the ball and took the ball. I think Hoppy had it in his hand, and I think he just laughed at him and took it off him. But you know, I was expecting, you know, Piero to run over and say, "Look, give me it. I want it. I need somebody to kick me, kickstart me." I think McNair had to give him a free kick, which took a deflection and went wide.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't stand Ledesma, but at least he had that South American viciousness about him, where he was he'd throw a tackle in and all right, he'd ping one from 30, 40 yards.
Yeah.
Couldn't pass from me, Steve, but
No.
he could do the rest of it. And that's what you want from him, but just not seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, Ledesma had a bit of balls about him, didn't he? He had a bit of toughness about him. Sometimes I saw on last Wednesday, I saw Piero. I don't want to say wimp out, but he backed off, and I thought they're the type of tackles that we want to see you get in and have and crack on and show that you use it through authority, because at the end of the day, it's League Two. But
well, they're not the type of tackles that I want to be seeing in pre-season.
Someone put one in.
I was going to say there was one tackle.
Oh,
Jesus
jeez.
God. It was horrendous.
A young kid young kid, wasn't he? And he studs were showing for the Borough, and you went, geez.
He flew in, and the referee just went, calm down. I thought, calm down. You should be like.
I tell you, really impressed me in little stages, and you saw that little bit of flair. Silvera from Australia. I thought he could be. He could be quite a player, quite a finding for us.
Definitely.
Carrick's been singing his praises, hasn't he, in the press the last week or so?
He's settled in quite nicely, hasn't he? He's doing really well. I do like Silvera, I really do. John, what have you made pre-season? What stood out for you?
There's nothing really been standout for me.
God, you were worth asking as well.
No. Well, you asked about standout. There was nothing really standout, but he's used a lot of players. He's getting them match fit. Obviously, we lost some players, through injuries. So really, it's just been a case of getting minutes in legs. I was pleased to see us at least get something out of the game on Saturday. With the two late goals, it wouldn't have been nice to send 9,000 and whatever fans away. It's disgruntled. I think it would have added to the social media murmurings about, like Steve said, about missing out on targets or not having the right players in. It would have just sort of magnified that. But pre-season is purely an exercise on getting ready for the opening game. Not too many fans up and down the country of their clubs get really sort of disconcerted if their team doesn't win every game of the pre-season schedule. I mean,
say that to QPR.
Yeah, well, yeah, fair enough. If you were getting dicked all the time comfortably, there'd be worries there. But no, pre-season is what it is. It's about just preparing yourself, getting ready for Saturday's game at Millwall. And like I said earlier on, I wish we'd have had a couple more players in key positions, but we haven't, so we have to make do. And I think we've got enough to give Millwall a good game. And I've liked the look of the way we've been keeping the ball, stroking the ball. It's been nice playing triangles and short touches, quick short touches, and then making runs and finding the ball. Ballas on Saturday put some delicious balls through to the front lads. So I mean, if we can get him firing, he can do well for us this season, I hope.
I mean, we've got a couple of Facebook comments in. A friend of yours has messaged in, Steve, saying totally agree with everything you said, Steve. Andrew has put in, don't understand why Carrick hasn't rang Man United for a few loan players with his history with them. Well, maybe they have. And Luke, is it Boy? I think it is Boy, isn't it? Put, who would you guys have in on Saturday as left back and striker?
Who's going
John,
first?
Who's
Go on, John
going
Don. We'll
first?
give you it, John Don.
Well, I've said about my left back, I'd either have Rav in that position or McNair with Rav over at right back. I'd have them two in the full back positions. And up front, Marcus Forss. I don't see Crooks as a start number 9. So that'd be my choice.
Dave?
Did you see me? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I would go. I would have Paddy McNair as an inverted left back because he played on the left side of a 3-forward quite comfortably. I would put McNair on the left, and I'd have Isaiah Jones on the right, bombing forward. And because I would have Isaiah Jones bombing forward on the right, I would have Marcus Forss up front. But I don't think that'll happen, by the way. That's what I would have if I was manager. I don't think Matt Crooks is a centre forward, and Rodgers, I think it's a big ask at the moment for him to play centre forward. I'd rather see him in behind the striker, coming off one of the flanks. But that's what I would go. I'd have Jones right back, McNair left back, and Marcus Forss up front.
Not bad.
Who's next?
Dally?
Yeah, I'd probably go Rav left back, McNair right back, or swap them over which way on the field more comfortable on the ball. But I think the Chew will be back up front on Saturday.
That's a big shout.
No, I do.
Really?
I think, yeah, I do. I think he didn't play pre-season last season. I know he was bombed out of the squad, but every game he's played this year, last season, sorry, he was coming off with ice packs on his knees, and I just wonder if they've just said to him, we don't want to risk you against the likes of Auxerre and Bradford. Just tick over, and we go again in August.
Well, I hope you're right.
For me, I mean, is Dyke still fit at the moment? No.
No, he's injured.
I'd have Vandenberg at right back. Left back, I'd probably go with Paddy McNair, and I'd put Forss as the centre forward. Steve?
Oh, I fucking got away with that one. I'd have McGree at left back.
Yeah, go on, Steve. You're on the Jaeger early doors, aren't you?
No. I'll elaborate on it. Carrick actually alluded to this on Saturday. He likes his fullbacks to come inside the pitch, which is one of McGree's big strengths. And when we go forward, I did notice that we do go 3 at the back. So I put Vandenberg at right back. And I'd have Linehan and Fry as your centres when you're defending. Then I'd have them 3 at the back when you push forward, with McGree going forward with it. And I'd have Marcus Forss up front.
Luke's actually said after that, though, that his question was, which signings would we bring in at left back and centre forwards? So if we can't even answer that, if we can't even answer our own squad, I think we've got no hope of who we're bringing in. Luke's actually put that he would start Silvera as a striker. And another question is from Daniel. Who would you sell to fund more signings? Piero and Hoppy to be moved on. Well, for the money we'd get for them, I don't think we'd get much in, would we?
Even Musk wouldn't have Hoppy. Christ.
Wow. One player we haven't mentioned up front, Colburn. No one's mentioned Colburn yet.
He's injured as well.
He's injured, yeah. I think if he wasn't injured.
No one's mentioned it.
Does Colburn ever start ahead of Forss as centre forward, though? Not for me, he doesn't.
I think he would. I don't fancy Forss up front. I think he's a better on the wing. I think the games I saw of him up front last year, I don't know, I thought he was more...
I prefer
more influential on the right.
I prefer Zyron down the wing.
Yeah.
But so who would you sell to fund more signings? Piero and Hoppy? Like you said, I don't think we're going to get much out of them. Is there anybody else you think? I don't want to say surplus to requirements. I think that's harsh. But
I think
One
Paddy
play-
McNair's the one, isn't he? I think Paddy McNair's the one
Yeah.
that you might get 3 or 4 million for, possibly.
Yeah.
That maybe could shuffle the pack a little bit, but
What you get for
Akpom-
3 or 4.
Chuba Akpom's going to be the one, isn't he? I mean, with all the will in the world, I'd love Chuba to stay. I still think he's gone. I don't think we get to the first game of the season. He hasn't played all pre-season. Haven't heard anything from him. The manager seems coy, doesn't want to talk about him. With all the will in the world, I think Middlesbrough get 12 to 15 million. Chuba Akpom's gone. And I'd love him to stay as well.
is he worth 12 to 15 million?
28. What was it? 28 goals in the championship. He's
Yeah.
definitely worth that these days, isn't he? Surely.
I would
We
say
paid,
so.
we paid 15 million for Brit Assombalonga.
Yeah, so it's the last year's his contract though, so that knocks the price down a bit. But yeah, I think we can get 10, 12, maybe 15. But I don't want to see that happen. But because
Even though
obviously,
Even though he's in the last year of his contract, would this club accept anything less than £10 million? Surely he's worth more to us, banging in hopefully another 25 to 30 goals and possibly leading us to the Premiership. I wouldn't sell him for anything. And for £10 million, I don't think I'd sell him now.
You do a Brereton Diaz, don't you? Like the Blackburn risk that you take. You think, well, we've got this player who's scoring these goals. We haven't had the player that scores these goals in God how long? He's our player. He can kick and scream as much as he wants, but if he wants to move,
Yeah,
he's still got to put it in because people have still got that question mark over him. Is he a one season wonder?
well, that's it. I'm glad you said the Brereton Diaz scenario. I thought you were going to say the Mbappe one. I thought, well, we're going different leagues here. But
It's his loyalty day, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Mbappe deadline day where he gets £52 million for being loyal. Bloody hell.
yeah, I'd love that. You know what I mean?
We haven't got £52 million.
I mean, personally, I don't care about him.
Yeah.
But Jacob's come on, even Jacob. I think Ramsey may return. Hasn't been involved with Villa in pre-season. We've all mentioned him, haven't we? Like between ourselves, we've all mentioned Ramsey. I think a lot of Borough fans have mentioned Ramsey. I know there's a lot of selection within that position. Well, like them positions across the field, John Dan. But would you have Ramsey back?
yeah, of course I would. Yeah, I mean, before he got injured in the Norwich game, he was superb. Yeah, I would have him back.
We're pretty much unanimous on that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think everyone would have him back, but I'm sure I seen a link yesterday that I didn't like seeing that Ramsey and Archer were linked with Leicester. Now they've got Premiership money. Obviously, supporting this club, we hope that doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? They're in a far stronger position than us to be spending any kind of money like that.
Yeah, they look the one to beat at the moment, Leicester, for me. I know they got walloped in pre-season yesterday, but that's Liverpool, isn't it? So, but yeah,
Well, Luke's put me right. He said it's fake, so we can all sleep tonight.
thanks, Luke. I appreciate that. That Ramsey and Archer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to mention Archer because I don't think he's coming anywhere near the Championship next season. To be honest, I think he's Premier League bound, if anything. So, but right, last quarter of an hour. Should we discuss the first game and then give our predictions for the full lot?
Definitely.
Go on then, you can start.
Can't wait to get started.
Yeah. 26,000 sold already.
26,000. It's going to be pushing a sellout. You'll get a fair few walk-ins, and what is it? It's only Monday.
Mm.
So, it'll be close to the sellout. 200 Millwall fans coming up, and happy days.
I like Millwall, me.
Yeah,
Got a soft spot for Millwall.
don't tell them. No one likes them. They don't care.
No one likes Burnley, but yeah, I don't mind Millwall. I think they'll have a good season this year, Millwall. But Dal, you looking forward to Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to seeing a few familiar faces again around the ground.
Right.
Yeah, you just want to get it straight into it. I think we'll start with a draw. If I'm honest with you, but I'd rather get a point in the bank than lose them. So 1 each.
I mean, Jacob's just put there, he's going for 1-1 Saturdays. But would you be happy with 1-1 Saturday?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I wouldn't take a draw. Home game, first game of the season. No.
Well, I'll let your number generate whatever score you're going to come up with, and I'll come back to you in a few
You're
minutes.
gonna riot if we draw.
Definitely not.
Well, how we-
Have it with Millwall if we draw.
Well, we've got a bit of a new addition this season that me and the lads have decided we're going to do. We're going to, where we always do a prediction and a scorecast at the end of the games, we're going to chip in £1 each who's ever on. And at the end of the season, we'll donate £0 to charities of Teesside's choice, because none of us will get one right. But
Yeah.
you know, it's just something we decided we'd do, and we'll decide that, or maybe let the viewers and listeners decide which charities we use for Teesside.
Yeah, and I'll tell you now, your back pocket is not a charity. I'm not paying people. Look at somewhere like Teesside Hospice, MSC Foundation, they're another good one.
It'll be somewhere local, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'll go around all your predictions a bit later, well, in a little bit. So obviously go what we're going to put in this week. But John Don, how much you look forward to Saturday?
Oh, massively. Yeah, but it's always good to start the season, you know, because it's what you look for. It's what you look for all summer. You know, I mean, I've been entertained today in the last few weeks watching the cricket, but it's what you look forward to. The return of home games, 20,000 at the stadium, getting behind the team. You know, seeing some great performances, seeing some howlers, all part and parcel of being a Borough fan. Can't wait to get back into this.
Yeah, same. Cricket's been good, like, hasn't it?
I've enjoyed the cricket, yeah, especially today. You know, at one point, I thought it was going to just fizzle out, but yeah, good finish.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But we're not here to talk about cricket. So, but Dicko, how much you looking forward to Saturday?
Like I said, started the show apprehensive, but really excited at the same time. It's just the way I am. I can't help the way I feel. I'm just, you know, a bit nervous, but apprehensive. But as always, I can't wait to get back to the stadium. Like you said, you know, see people that you see week in, week out, only during the football season, during home games and stuff. You don't see them any at that time, but at the match. So looking forward to meeting up with some friends, having a few beers and cheering the boys on, hopefully to 3 points in what's going to be a tough game.
I mean, I'll stay with you because obviously you brought in a bit about the opposition. Obviously, which centre forward they'd be most looking forward to playing against. What have they got that's going to really trouble us?
I think there's always a big, strong side. I think they'll target our full-back areas. I think they'll target one set pieces, corners, free kicks, and try to exploit it. And I think the centre halves, if it is Morgan Rogers up front, I think they'll try and bully him and keep him out of the game. And Middlesbrough are going to have to be up for it. I think the supporters have got a huge part to play on Saturday. I think if we've got any advantage on Saturday at all, it's not the signings that we've signed in the summer. It's the hopefully 30,000 that turn up on Saturday and roll the lads on and get right behind them, because, you know, last season was a tough end of the season. It was all disappointing the way it ended. And if we go 1-0 down on Saturday against Millwall, it's going to be a real test of the supporters. You know, I hope the fans, if we go 1-0 down to Millwall, stay with the team and keep with them, because there's a lot of young lads there, a lot of young players that we've signed. And I think they'll be looking forward to playing at the Riverside for the first time. And I think our real big advantage on Saturday is home soil. So if anybody's listening live here, back the boys, stay with them.
Spot on. Yeah, that's important, isn't it? You know what I mean? Stay with them like as much as you can. Yeah, and the day it's the first game. We're not going to lose the league in the first game, are we?
I mean, the support will be there on Saturday, like the lads have alluded to earlier. We sold 26,000. It's going to be near enough for sellout. The excitement's back. Have we got all the signings? We've talked about this. No, we haven't. But I'm still very optimistic for the season. I'll be amazed if we don't finish top 6. I'll say that now. I'll make a prediction. I'll be amazed if we don't finish top 6. We'll bring players in. We'll have a good year. Some more fantastic attacking football. Bring it on.
And I'll go around just in a minute to obviously get your predictions. Obviously, I want to look at the starting lineup. Still got a bit of time, so I can go through it. One player, I'll look at you first, Ali. One player that's going to come to this team that you wouldn't expect to start on Saturday, but you think will start
For the Borough?
Yeah.
Player I don't think will start, but will. Don't know. I think Silvera starts. I think he's, but I think I haven't seen him play. I think he would start. I don't think there's any going to be any surprises in there.
I'll chuck one. Alex Gilbert. I think Alex Gilbert's brilliant. What I've seen of him, he looks a real talent. What was it? Was he Brentford
B captain money.
Yeah, and their player of the year as well last season. Knocking on the door of the first team. I think he's brilliant. I think he's brilliant. Luke thinks when he's put Pierre, I'm guessing he thinks Pierre will start. It's not happy hour.
What, in the concourse?
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't start Pierre.
No.
I don't. I want him to succeed, but I don't think he's shown enough pre-season to.
He could come off the bench as an impact if he, you know, he might be one of these who needs the crowd to play. Let's just have a look. Let's see what happens.
Does anybody think Hayden Coulson will start?
No.
Because I think he might.
No, I can't.
I think he's more of a left winger, mate. Personally, I think it's defensive. Defensively, he worries me, but going forward, I don't mind him.
Yeah.
I think the only reason he doesn't start is that we're signing somebody before Saturday, because he's played all pre-season there. And I think it'd be a strange decision to suddenly take him out the side right on match day. So unless we're signing somebody, I think Coulson starts.
See, I think the only nailed-on starter for Saturday out of the summer signings is Dieng, but I think Vandenberg starts on Saturday, and with the two right backs currently injured, the place is his to lose. So if he impresses, who's to say he won't play all season and turn out to be an unbelievable bit of business by the club?
But it's what Dick Rose just said, isn't it? That, you know, he's played Coulson left back all the way through when he started playing. He's had McNair there the last few games. I think it's teed up for McNair.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he does start McNair, but I'm with you on that one. I think if you can start Rav at right back, I'd start him. But same question to you, John Don. Who would you bring in that you wouldn't perhaps expect to usually start?
I don't know. I don't know, Jeff. I wasn't there. I've no idea, really. It's you know, I'm trying to sort of go through the team, but that I think might start in my head, and there's no real sort of there's no real shocks. I mean, I've said I think Vandenberg will start in one of the fullback positions.
Well, considering you've got the team in your head, then give us your starting 11.
Right, Dieng,
Mm-hmm.
Fry, Lenihan in front of him, McNair and Vandenberg, either left or right. 4 across the middle: McGree, Hackney, Barlaser, Jones, and Force. And I don't think Crooks will be there. Force and Rogers.
4-4-2.
I pass it the living daylight.
No, I was gonna do it, Mike, but no, I best not. But yeah, 4-4-2.
4-4-2, fair enough. Dicko?
I don't think we'll play 4-4-2 just because we haven't done it pre-season. We seem to like the 2 holding midfielders and the 3 across and the 1 up front. So I think you'll go. Are you wanting what I would pick? Or are you wanting what Michael? I think Michael Carrick will pick.
What you go for?
What I would go for is Dieng. I would go McNair left back, Isaiah Jones right back, Lenihan and Fry, and Holden. I would have Hackney alongside Barlaser. Then the 3 in front of them, I would have Silvera, and I would have, who did I say? McGree, and probably Force. And then, well, I can't say that because I said I'd have Force up front earlier on, didn't I? So I'd have Rogers, McGree, Silvera, and Force up front.
Tell you one thing I'm surprised about here, that all these are picking Barlaser instead of Crooks. I certainly wouldn't. Barlaser, whichever you pronounce it. Him and Hackney have had a good relationship apparently pre-season and done very, very well together. And I think if there's one part of the pitch other than the centre backs that is nailed on, it's Hackney and Barlaser who will start, because they seem to have played well all pre-season. So
I think that's a given. The key area is obviously the full-back positions, who's going to play there, and which three does he put behind the striker? Because I think you'll start Rodgers personally up front, and it'll be 3 from 4 behind Rodgers. But me personally, I would rather you put Force up front.
If Balesa scores, does he do Gangnam Style?
I hope not. Dear me.
Wow. So yeah, well we'll go to our predictions. I'll start with your predictions for obviously I was gonna say tonight. No, not tonight. Saturday. And then I'll ask you your predictions where we'll finish this season. I'll start with you, Cuts, because you've been playing your best impression of Neil Buchanan for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, after his brilliant goal scoring record last year, and I'm hoping to win big for charity this year, I'm going to go for Lenihan first goal. Middlesbrough to win 3-1.
Okay. I didn't expect the number generator to pull that out, but all right. Dally?
Let me guess.
One each.
1-1.
Yeah, one each.
I
I think it'll be a last-minute goal, and I think it'll be Crooks.
First goal scored a Crooks, or she's got to put a first goal scorer to score.
Oh, well, what more first goal?
I'm glad you come on here. John Don?
We're not going to trouble the bookies, are we? 2-1 to Borough. The goal scorer, Aidan Hackney.
Okay. Diego?
Because it's for charity, I'll have to change. I'll try and give him more chance of winning. I think it'll be a draw as well. But just to change it up a bit, I'll go 2-2 Desmond. And I think Marcus Force first goal.
Oh, okay. Before I give my John, where's Hackney from?
Redcar.
Is he a superstar?
Redcar. Cool. I'm gonna go 2-0 Borough, nice and easy, and I think Rodgers will score first. Massively impressed by that kid. I think he's brilliant. Yeah. But
Final one then, quickly. Predictions, where will Borough finish?
Oh, it's too early for that, isn't it?
No.
All right then. Right. Okay. 5th.
okay. Jacob thinks that as well. So
Yeah, I'll go 5th.
Diego, this could be funny.
6th. If we're saying some players.
Oh, I was going to say.
Well, if we sign the right players, I'm going to say 2nd. So I mean,
I'll be generous and say 6th because I'm hoping we're going to bring some new faces in.
Steve?
4th.
So not one of you is a predicting automatic promotion.
This means you are.
Second.
There you go.
I'm
That was
disappointed.
fun.
I'm disappointed in you, John. I thought you'd have said first by Easter, and then yeah, championship wrapped up.
Christmas, you mean?
Yeah, I thought you were hitting Southampton by Easter as champions, like, but no. Well, whatever it's meant to be, but whatever happens, I can't wait for it to start now. It's the start. It's the start of 9 months of hell. Yeah.
John, do you know your end of season position predictor? Are we going to have a refresher at the end of the year?
Well, I tell you what will be funny. All the criticism I get about my scores, if I win some money for charity and you lot win 0, that'll be banging that.
You're not going to win money for charity. I mean, 3-1 might happen, but
And then 3-1, you're looking what? 125 to 1 will be after a cracking start.
yeah, well,
3-1 Lenihan, he'll be pocketing the money and doing the runner if he gets 3-1 Lenihan.
John, you predicted we play Sunderland in the playoff final and we beat them 4-0, didn't you? Some rubbish like that.
Is that the end of the show now, lads?
Yeah. I think on that note, I'll call it. Gentlemen in front of me, thank you so much for coming in. We'll keep an eye on predictions as the season goes on. Gentlemen on the screen in front of me, thank you so much for popping on. Always a pleasure to talk to you both. We've had so much interaction tonight. It's been great. Thank you for getting in touch. Thank you for listening and etc. And yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully, to talk about 3 points. Up the Borough.
Up the Borough.
Up the Borough, boys.
To the 12th Man podcast. Welcome to the 12th Man podcast, opinionated debate on everything Borough. Let's have it.
Sandbox, can you in there? No, man, there we go. No structures in. Get in the penalty. Redmond boss.
Are we doing another hour?
I don't think so. I was still live. I don't even know if that happened the last time, so we better cut off because the last time it happened, we were still live after the show.
Right, no problem.
So I'll go off. Take
See
care,
you
John.
later. Yeah,
Take
no
care,
problem.
fella.
Ta-ra.
See you Saturday. Bye.
Yeah, ta-ra.